Shavua Tov V'Gavach. I want to share a story that I recently read on Chabad.org, a reliable source. It's not my own story. It took place with Rabbi Shachat, who is the Rav of the Chabad community in Toronto, Canada. He was walking out to his car one blustery Canadian wintry day, and he's approached by a disheveled young man who's just dressed in a shirt and pants. He's not wearing a jacket or a coat, and he has a little bit of a frantic look in his eyes. And he approaches the rabbi. He's getting into his car, and he says, "Rabbi, you've got 10 minutes to prove to me that there's a God." The rabbi looked at him and he said, "If you don't mind, let's go back into my office. We'll have a more comfortable 10-minute talk in my office than standing out here in the cold." So they come into the rabbi's office. They each take a seat. And this young man, probably in his middle 20s, is carrying an apple and a Reader's Digest. Puts them down on the rabbi's desk, and he says, "Okay, Rabbi, prove to me that there's a God." And the rabbi looks at him like, "Give me a little more information, what's going on?" And he said, "I'm engaged to get married in a week to the woman of my dreams. And my family is upset because she's not Jewish. They prefer I marry a Jewish girl. And I wasn't thinking about it too much till this morning. I woke up and I said to myself, I need to speak to a rabbi and just put this idea to rest. So therefore, you got 10 minutes. Prove to me there's a God, and I'll listen. Otherwise, the wedding is on." So the rabbi reached over and took the apple. And he happened to have a knife available. Rabbis always have these things. He cuts the apple in half, and he opens it up. And if you cut the apple the right way, you see the number of seeds, and you see the shape that is formed there. I don't remember exactly, but there's 10 and 5. And he says to the young man, the Torah says that with Yud and Hey, which is God's name, which happens to be 10 and 5, God created the world. So inside every apple is an allusion to this power of creation, the 10 and 5, in nature. The guy looks and he says, basically, "Rabbi, you got to do better than that to convince me there's a God. I mean, 10 and 5, God created, that's kind of stretching it." So the rabbi said, "Open your Reader's Digest and read to us the first thing you see." The guy opens up the Reader's Digest randomly, and his jaw drops down. And he starts reading, "Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one." This is the declaration of the Jewish people of our faith in the one and only God. It's how we say the prayers at night and in the morning. It's how we end off the Yom Kippur prayer. And the guy is stunned beyond stunned that randomly opening his Reader's Digest that he brought to the office, and the first words he sees are the words of Shema. Probably only appeared once in Reader's Digest. I happened to see that article about a woman writes about prayers that she remembers from her childhood, her grandparents and her parents saying the Shema with her going to bed, and she includes all kinds of prayers, and that's exactly what he opened up. He was stunned. He said, "Rabbi, you've convinced me." And the rabbi said, "I didn't convince you, God convinced you." He walked out of there, and that was the end of the story. God works in many ways. We have to keep our eyes and our ears and our hearts open. Have a great week.